Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Today I'm going to continue where I left off in Charlie's list of 25 tendencies. If I remember right, which was before the storm, I think I last spoke number 4, which was doubt and avoidance tendency. Now we'll be moving on to number 5, which is inconsistency. Avoidance tendency refers to cognitive bias, which we all have, is when we have a set pattern of belief and behaviors and strategies. Once we form them, we are very reluctant to change them. That we don't like to see anything that goes against what we believe. Any new information or evidence that contradicts them, we have a tendency of not believing this. We can see this as in relationships. We can see this, in offices. We see this in a global level, in countries. We see this in all situations where you'll see the evidence. Relationships, the easiest example to give, we'll see evidence happening in front of you, a certain kind of pattern of behavior, but you will not want to acknowledge it because you don't want to acknowledge it because it will have a paradigm shift in your life. So you rather avoid it and just brush it under the carpet and not pay any attention to it, which is a big problem because whatever you tend to avoid and push away in a box tends to naturally build up steam, and that blockage leads to pressure, and that pressure finally explodes and manifests itself in different forms and varieties, like what we see in the Palestinian conflict. There's nothing but this. The Israelis constantly avoiding the information and the knowledge which is staring them right in the face that what they're doing to the Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank cannot continue. And it finally manifested in forms of Hamas and what Hamas did to Israel. And now Israel is dealing with it in a very tragic way, which I can't understand. That being said, we are an investment channel, we are not a political channel. So I don't want to dive too much into that. I want to stick to the concept of investing. So what happens is in investing is we stick to underperforming stocks. We believe through our research and we think this is where we should be investing and we invest. But something has changed in the market or something has deteriorated in the company or the management, and we don't want to look into that information because of our research, and we like to think that our research and we like to think we are very smart, and we'll stick to these underperforming stocks and we'll feel very difficult to sell them. That means because by selling those stocks, we're admitting that we made a mistake in the original purchasing decision, or maybe that we missed some information, critical information along the way, and we've been investing regardless. So we don't want to face the truth, so we rather hold on to it. So the reverse is also true. I was talking to someone on Instagram where he was telling me, sir, I made a mistake long ago before I met Anand, sir, of buying a lot of penny stocks. He says, I managed to get rid of all of them except one, which is still stuck there. There are no buyers for it. I don't know how to get rid of it. I said, why? Why get rid of it? I said, I also have stocks like this. I said, it's good to keep them because it's a simple reminder of the mistakes we made. Remember that. We do fall into this trap and we hold on to some belief pattern, and especially in investing, and we think this is the right way to go. Lo and behold, we realize it was a wrong decision. This happens with every new investor, especially like buying public sector banks, buying public sector companies. We just think it's the right thing to do, like Indian oil companies, the petroleum companies, which are all state-run and state-owned. We don't look into the debt. We don't look into the management of the company. We just think, these are big companies. They're owned by the government. Must be safe. It's a very novice mistake to make and very novice kind of understanding. And we all do it. But when we do realize, okay, why this kind of strategy is not a great strategy, then we need to pivot. At that time, we find it very hard to pivot because it means admitting we made a mistake. And that leads to the second point, which is ignoring new information. We get baked into our beliefs, then any new information comes, forget the mistake we made, a better opportunity comes. We've been sitting on a certain holding for a long time, and we finally find something you hear about a new opportunity, another company, we're holding Tata Technologies IPO, yes, wonderful. Okay, we're going to hold it for 10 years. Suddenly, that's another great opportunity that come. Should you sell, liquidate, and move into that? That's a very hard decision. And we want to ignore it because it's just too much for us to deal with. because we're still celebrating that we applied for the IPO and we're seeing a profit of so many thousand rupees. The notion of selling that and moving that into another place where there is an opportunity to see more returns in 10 years' time is hard to digest because we're too happy with where we are right now. So we tend not to look at it. So any new information comes because of this bias, psychological tendency, we try and avoid it, this inconsistency. So we don't want to see it. We want to be consistent with our belief system. And this also leads to sticking to and adhering to outdated strategies. Sometimes, when the market was in a certain situation before the Russia war, before the interest rate started going up, when the world was in a very low interest rate, we had a certain strategy in picking our stocks. We had a certain way of looking at it with the FIIs and the DIIs. Now, the macroeconomics has changed with the global conflict in the rise, with the interest rates going up. Our strategies have to accordingly change what we look at. Like Anand keeps changing. You have to keep changing. You have to pivot and you have to move with the times. We find that very hard to do because there's an avoidance there and there's an inconsistency which we don't want to see and we don't want to get into it and we avoid this. This was what Charlie was talking about. And the most important thing avoidance and adherence tendency does is, inconsistency and avoidance tendency does is, it prevents you from diversifying. It tells you that you have achieved enough success and you're doing great and you don't want to diversify to manage your risks. Though it is very prudent to diversify and manage and mitigate risk, mitigate any loss. We don't want to and we just stay undiversified and we don't want to even look at it. So how do you overcome this kind of tendencies? Of course, Charlie in the video talks about this as a human being, how it affects us not only in investing. I've been focusing purely on investing. In that video, he talks about in personal level, interpersonal, in work, worldwide, why this leads to problems for human beings. He takes it in a very beautifully high macro level and he discusses it as a human nature, why we need to be careful of this. I only dived into it as an investment, as an investor, because I thought that would be more relevant for you. So do see that Charlie's video if you have not seen it. It's wonderful and he explains it far better than what I'm explaining it here in a very short time, which I'm doing. That video is over an hour, so I do suggest you see it. And how do you overcome these tendencies? This is going to be something which I've always said on. And the reason why we say this is because these 4 methods are pretty much the stead ways of overcoming most of these tendencies. First is to be informed and to be flexible. To tell yourself constantly, every day, to be flexible and to be agile and to keep yourself educated and informed and consume all kinds of information and see, like I was telling Keshav, you need to see the ocean to see the waves. You cannot take the ocean in a small cup and look at it and say, I don't see waves. Other is seek contrarian views. Contrary views are views which are completely opposite to you. That means even in politics, if you are a person who is very liberal and very left-leaning, talk to people on the right, people who are very conservative. If you are a very conservative person, if you are a very person who have very conservative views, talk to someone who's liberal. Simple reason, you just need to know how the other side of the world works. We all live in it. We all share the same planet and we all want to get along. And by seeking contrary views, you learn to understand the viewpoints and see the challenges in their situation. And maybe you can find a common ground. This is also true in investing. And regularly review and reassess whatever you're doing. This applies to everything in life and especially in investing. In your job, your career, this can happen. This kind of inconsistency, avoidance, the tendency can happen where you're stuck in the same job, you're not being growing. AI has come, things are moving forward and you're not. Because you're so stuck in your thing and you're just chugging along and you don't want to put the effort of moving or learning or upskilling. So regularly review and reassess whatever you're doing, your investments. And most importantly, be kind to yourself, to your mental health and your well-being. Acknowledge and learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are the greatest teachers in life. And when you make a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn. Reframe your mind, reframe your thought process. I put up a LinkedIn post about that, about reframing. So go check that out. And why reframing is important and to learn from your mistakes. How to take a negative and turn it into a positive is to learn from it. You can learn from everything, and that learning can become a positive, and that negativity from that mistake can dissipate if you do that. I hope you found this video interesting as always, and I'll see you in the next tendency soon. Bye.
So after Kuwait, my team has decided to do an event in Trivandrum. Those who are desirous of meeting me in Trivandrum can contact our team at trivandrummp@gmail.com, the mail ID given below, or the WhatsApp number given below. My team would fill in you with the details. The event would be in January 2024. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.